Jonathan Joss, the voice behind John Redcorn from King of the Hill, was shot and killed in the street on Sunday, June 1st, 2025, just days after recording episodes for the show's upcoming reboot. Police say it was a neighborhood feud. Joss had spent years reporting threats, homophobic harassment, and violence. Their home was burned down, their dogs were killed, the warnings were there, and no one listened. And now, one of Native America's most iconic voices is gone. You might not know his name, but you know his voice. Jonathan Joss played John Redcorn on King of the Hill for over a decade. His calm, confident delivery made the character unforgettable and gave Native viewers a rare moment of recognition on primetime TV. Joss wasn't just an actor, he was part Apache and Comanche. And he brought his identity into every role he played. From the clever Chief Ken Hotade on Parks and Rec, to gritty dramas like Tulsa King and Ray Donovan, he became known for breaking stereotypes, not just portraying them. On a quiet Sunday in San Antonio, Joss and his husband, Tristan Kern de Gonzalez, were simply checking the mail. That's when the man they feared, Sigfredo Alvarez Cheja, showed up, shouting slurs, raising a gun, and pulling the trigger. Joss was hit multiple times and collapsed by the roadside. He died before paramedics could save him. But in his final moments, he did something heroic. He shoved his husband out of the way, saving his life. Alvarez was caught a block away and charged with murder. But for Joss's loved ones, that wasn't the end. It was the boiling point. There was a history of harassment because this wasn't the first sign of danger. Far from it. The couple had been harassed for years. According to de Gonzalez, they were openly targeted in their neighborhood with homophobic threats, slurs, and intimidation. Things escalated until one night, their home was burned to the ground. 3 of their dogs were killed. The house, where Joss had grown up, was reduced to ashes. They reported everything, the threats, the fire, the harassment, but nothing happened. They eventually moved out, but on the day of the shooting, they were grieving, returning to that burned-down home to check the mail. That's when the man struck. Was this a hate crime or a long-standing feud? Jonathan's husband didn't mince words. He was murdered by someone who couldn't stand the sight of 2 men loving each other. Online, the reaction was swift. Many called it a hate crime, but San Antonio police pushed back, saying that so far there's no evidence the murder was based on sexual orientation. They claimed the conflict was part of a long-standing feud between neighbors, one that had grown heated over the years. But let's be real, does that erase the threats, the fire, the slurs, the years of being ignored? Something doesn't add up. What makes this tragedy even more gut-wrenching is what Jonathan was doing just days before. He was signing autographs, smiling in videos, telling fans how excited he was to return to King of the Hill for its reboot this August. He'd already recorded 4 episodes, but behind the scenes, he felt sidelined. At a recent panel for the show, Joss wasn't invited to speak. He was hurt. He said it felt like being shut out of something he helped build. So, during the Q&A, he grabbed the mic from the audience. "I'm an actor. I see a mic. I use it. I see a wrong. I make it right." It was a classic Joss moment. Bold, heartfelt, and real. He spoke not just for himself, but for the character. "Johnny gave you that voice because he was that voice. You don't," he said. Security escorted him out. Days later, he was gone. Jonathan Joss wasn't a headline. He wasn't a voice in a cartoon. He was a man. One who tried to make people laugh, who brought pride to Native communities, who stood up against injustice even when it cost him. His Parks and Rec co-stars say they're heartbroken. "A terrible tragedy," Nick Offerman said. "He was such a sweet guy." The new King of the Hill will still premiere this August 2025. Jonathan's voice will be in it, but for just 4 episodes. After that, the revival will go on without him. Jonathan Joss spent decades making people feel seen, and in the end, he died unseen by the people who could have stopped it. Ignored complaints, burned homes, slurs shouted in the open. This wasn't sudden. This was slow burn neglect. Let's remember Jonathan for the joy his characters brought so many over the years. Rest in peace.